Who doesn't enjoy a spirited round of competitive sports? I, for one, know all about all the different sports games. Why else would I be holding this soccer ball?
It's a football.
But the actual realm of goals, hoops, brackets, touchdowns and fouls begins to look positively tame next to the sports offered up by games. They might not be real or even physically possible for humans to attempt, but that doesn't make these in-game sports any less nail-biting or thrilling to play and watch. Here are the sports you would 100% be a fan of in real life, if only they, existed.
First, Rocket League doesn't sound too exciting. It's simply a sport where jet-powered cars slam a giant floating ball into a neon goal, and oh wait, that's the most exciting thing ever. Your typical Rocket League match features two teams of cars performing rocket-assisted boosts to score points, and if you're still somehow not sold on that premise, did we mention that a goal makes everything explode? Cars might not seem like the ideal choice for a game as fast-paced and nimble as football, but the addition of the eponymous rockets makes these vehicles more manoeuvrable, able to perform quick dodges to nudge the ball in the right direction, or boost in midair to slam the ball home to thunderous applause. Suggesting, as we always suspected, that rockets make any machine better. A theory I hope to prove with my new rocket-powered coffee machine.
Just gonna grab a latte. Does anyone want one?
Wait! Okay, now, don't rush out to get your Rocket League team jerseys printed just yet though, because there are a few logistical barriers that stand between this incredible sport and reality. For instance, these arenas would be a nightmare to build, and unlike real football stadiums, wouldn't double as a concert venue when Rihanna's in town. Plus, we're not sure the laws of physics strictly allow for driving along a wall like this, even if it is ridiculously entertaining. And thinking purely of the spectators, it might be better if matches lasted longer than 5 minutes. I mean, those stadium goers would barely have time to tuck into their hot dogs before the final whistle blew. And surely matchday snacks are the whole point of sport, right?
I think there's more to it than that.
Pretty sure it's the point, guys.
Just look at those human lumps. Why ain't they moving?
A frozen spell. Could they not just let it all go?
Look at player 16, Josh Kershaw. He just stands there and lets that blockboard smack him right in the kisser. Useless.
They don't seem as sprightly in that trolley either, do they?
I know.
Have you ever been watching American football and thought to yourself, this is great and all, but wouldn't it be better if all the players were orcs and goblins and rat people and also died all the time? Well, good news, because Blood Bowl is a thing. Blood Bowl has roughly the same aim as American football in that you're trying to move a ball into the end zone of the pitch. As in American football, the opposition players are trying to stop you from doing that, but they have rather more options at their disposal than regular football players do, including, but not limited to, the ability to knock other players unconscious, bribe the referee, and kill each other. That's what would make Blood Bowl such an excellent sport to go and watch. It's sheer unpredictability. You never know when the crowd are going to stage a violent pitch invasion, or a player will switch sides and start playing for the opposing team, or it'll turn out that one of the squads accidentally bathed in a cauldron of blood, making them much more aggressive. Not sure how you do that accidentally, but there you go. Also, the commentary team is an ogre and a vampire. What's not to like? Apart from the constant threat of death all the time, I mean.
It should be a great match, assuming any of us survive. The crowd's getting larger in the stadium, Bob. You'd have thought they'd be fleeing at the prospect of their impending doom.
Just maybe don't catch the ball if it flies into the stands, yeah?
Now plunge into the pyre with the orb and be purified. Yes, the exiled rookie has the way of it.
Scoring a goal in a team sport is usually met with celebration and reward. Or so I'm told. I mean, I've never actually scored one myself. However, that's just one of the many conventions defined in Pyre, the inventive fantasy sports RPG that sees exiles from society battling through purgatory in groups of 3 to cleanse their souls and win freedom, which is quite a lot higher stakes-wise than making regionals. Running a celestial orb, or ball if you will, into your opponent's pyre, or goal, gets you a step closer to victory, but when a teammate under your control scores, they're temporarily banished from the pitch, putting your side at a disadvantage.
Whoever steps into the flame is banished.
I mean, as much of a disadvantage as you can be at when you've got a dog with a moustache on your team. Nice shot, boy. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Who's a good dog? This guy. Players who don't have the ball can take down an attacker by bringing them in contact with their aura, the glowing circle that surrounds each competitor, which is a bit like a tackle but more glowing.
Stand not in glory's path.
Adding to the complexity though is the fact that players can fire their auras like a targeted weapon, which lets you dismantle an opposing team's strategy without getting too physically close, i.e. without the usual risks associated with playing sports, like shredding your cruciate ligament, or taking a studded boot to the face, or forging a lifelong sense of kinship with your teammates, which might sound alright, but one day one of those teammates is going to move house, and then who's lugging a piano up 3 flights of stairs? Pfft, sports.
The secret to improving any sport is the same as the trick to crafting a bottle of Outside Xtra's miracle cure-all elixir. Just add water. Hence, the ordinarily dry sports of netball and basketball are mashed together and submerged to create blitzball, the wildly popular team sport played by hero Tidus in Final Fantasy X. Blitzball is all about swimming past the opposing team, or tactically throwing a pass to evade their defence before slamming home a righteous goal. Watch your back though, as this full contact sport can see players flung into the crowd like so many promotional t-shirts. If you catch a player, you get to keep them. That's the rule, right? Well, it's the rule now. According to Final Fantasy lore, blitzball is played in a sphere of water that's suspended in place by fireflies, which are disembodied bits of life force that also enable the players to breathe underwater, which is kinda creepy, so let's focus instead on the cool flips and squealing electric guitar. Nice! And if you need more evidence that blitzball would be massive in real life, just look at how thrilled these fans are to meet their sporting hero and watch him pretend to sign autographs even though he's very clearly not holding a pen.
Please!
Alrighty.
Me too!
Take it easy.
You right there, Tidus? Maybe one too many blitzballs to the head.
Oh, me! I'll give it a try.
A volunteer! Alright, settle down, folks. This kid looks like a serious contender.
You may consider spitting to be a filthy, childish habit that should be unlearned at the first opportunity, and that is why you will never raise a future world spitting champion. Kids growing up on the Secret of Monkey Island 2's Booty Island, however, have a much better shot at sporting glory, because here, hocking a loogie is a competitive sport with distance markings etched into the ground that put us in mind of Olympic javelin.
Misfire! Misfire!
But like a javelin, you fire from your throat. Ooh, hang on, new sport idea. Plus, you might be surprised at how sophisticated the sport of pro expectorating can be. The best athletes know exactly what to drink to make their phlegm the right consistency.
Boy, this stuff makes my spit thick.
And to only release the payload when there's a favourable breeze.
He's cleared first place! That was truly awe-inspiring. Sports fans, we've seen something incredible here today.
Plus, think of the lucrative sponsorship deals. From throat medicine? Milky drinks? Ew.
3, 2, 1.
Thrilling action is only one aspect of what makes a sport exciting. Any competition worth its salt must also feature...
Outfits?
What? No.
Fun mascots?
No.
Behind the scenes drama?
No. Wait, yes, actually, that one. Sport needs its soap opera backstories, and no league is more fraught with drama than F-Zero Racing, which is weird because the competition itself should be dramatic enough for anyone. Those entering compete at hundreds of miles an hour on courses that only sometimes feature safety rails or float miles above cities, with the ever-present threat of hurtling fatally off the track.
Too bad. You lost your machine.
Despite what you'd consider an extremely short lifespan, the racers have tightly interwoven backstories that would give even the most ardent pro wrestling fan a headache.
The hitman who flies at the speed of sound, Pico! The Japanese warrior, Samurai Goro! The cyborg returns, Mighty Gazelle!
Consider the series star Captain Falcon, for instance, who is a bounty hunter in his spare time, and had his DNA stolen 3 years ago and used to create Blood Falcon, his clone who works for the mysterious criminal Black Shadow. But wait, is Black Shadow having his strings pulled by an even more powerful force?
Wait, just give me one more chance. One more chance is all you get to win this F-Zero Grand Prix, or you know the price of failure.
Then there's Jodie Summer, pilot of the White Cat, whose father invented the anti-gravity tech that allows for F-Zero racing. And for some reason has a long-standing rivalry with this octopus guy, who canonically is only racing to put his kids through school, but also, it seems, hates to lose bodybuilding contests. Also, there's this guy called the Skull. Not sure what his deal is. Seeing as the last main entry in this series had 41 racers, each with their own surreal, crisscrossing backstories, we reckon we could definitely get emotionally invested in the F-Zero Grand Prix. I mean, right up until everyone involved got exploded, which would be about 2 minutes in.
Watch your back! Too bad, you lost to the team.
If only every sport could boast this much melodrama. Step your game up, rugby. Step your game up... badminton, that's one.
We're neck and neck!
It's not often that you hear the words sports and adorable in the same sentence. I mean, unless you're looking at my Etsy store that sells Trymere Rover scarves for pugs. But chocobos, the fluffy feathered athletes of the Final Fantasy universe, are some of the sweetest creatures to ever not actually exist. Always eager for a hug and somehow remaining just as adorable as adults as they are as tiny chicks. See, pigs, it is possible. Chocobo Racing is a popular sport across many of the Final Fantasy games, and while the style of competition varies from game to game, the one constant is that these long-necked bundles of fluff love to sprint as fast as their scaly feet will carry them. Some chocobos race with riders on their backs, some race each other with no human involvement, and some are content to simply race a sheep, for reasons best known only to the animals themselves. Adding to its appeal, Chocobo Racing isn't just adorable, it's big business, and there's a lot of money to be made for those who bet correctly on the outcome of a race. Come on, Big Bird, Mama needs a new pair of shoes. That said, sports that involve animals have a history of eventually becoming outlawed, so you might want to get your fill of Chocobo Racing before it probably rightfully becomes illegal.
So those are some of the sports in games that if they were real, we would absolutely be there up in the stands, waving our flags, shouting, supporting, singing the songs, waving that little rattly thing that goes, it's hard to do the noise with your mouth, blowing a vuvuzela. If you can think of any other sports that we missed, then pop them in the comments. And if you did enjoy this, then there are loads more videos to watch. This one up here is good, this one up here is good, and why not try and kick the ball that is your subscription into this subscribe or goal and win a goal sports point. Andy, give me a sports term.
Yes.